So the next topic of our show is going to be Lamar Jackson, and today we're going to talk about some of these internet detectives. Okay, that's because that's what they are. They're assuming that Lamar Jackson faked an injury because he was mad that his team was not beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm going to give two different perspectives and stay towards the end of the episode because I have the ultimate. It's actually two culprits, but it may or may not be Lamar. So stay to the end of the episode to see ultimately what I have to say. So personally, I'm going to start by saying it looked like he kind of came down on it a little bit weird, but I've seen tons of quarterbacks. Let it be Baker Mayfield. Matter of fact, last week when Baker, even though he lost this week, valiant effort, by the way, last week, the dude took and pulled his hamstring and pulled some type of leg muscle and still got up to talk trash to the guy and then ended up marching his team down the field for a win. You gotta love it, right? I'm not saying that Lamar doesn't have that same moxie. And look, maybe he was just being cautious because his legs are a huge part of his game. They are. They totally are. So I think he was just being cautious. I think he might have pulled something, might have tweaked something. Lamar does not come across to me as somebody who is a liar, and he does not come across to me as somebody who go so low to fake an injury when your team needs you. You come in as a team, you lose as a team. And if you come in as a team, you win as a team. So what I will take and say, I don't think Lamar Jackson would go as far as to fake an injury, be a big old baby, as many people were calling him on Twitter and all these different platforms, right? I don't think he would go that low. I personally don't. I think the world of Lamar. You know, I'm a Dolphins fan. I'd much rather have him as my quarterback than the bozo who's representing us now, Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, personal opinion, but I'll say also that's my opinion on that. However, we also have to take and realize that Lamar is a two-time MVP. You know what I mean? This guy he's the best reason this team is successful year after year after year. He is a future Hall of Famer. I personally don't think he would fake an injury. So let's move on to who I think the problem is. Who I really, really think the problem is. I'm gonna start off with the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. Not a fan of this cat. Really not a fan of this cat. The thing is with Todd is that whenever they're in big time situations, he changes what made this team successful. I'm not too crazy about him as an offensive coordinator. I'm gonna be honest with you. He should be on the hot seat this year. 100% Todd Monken should be on the hot seat. The other person is going to take and be John Harbaugh. Okay. John Harbaugh, look, no doubt, bro, you won a Super Bowl in 2012, but that was 13 years ago. You're acting real Mike Tomlin. You're acting real Mike McCarthy right now. Looking real complacent. And look, he drafts a lot of good people on defense. On defense. Defense is humming. Not every game, obviously, not this week, but it's usually very, very well. But why is this guy allergic to drafting receivers and making that a commitment? Because let's be real, if Lamar tears his ACL, he still has a very, very good arm. And I'm looking at this roster, and this roster does not scream Super Bowl receiving room. Now, I got to say, one of my favorite tight end rooms, Mark Andrews, okay, Charlie Kolar, okay, Isaiah Likely. Oh my goodness, love these guys. And then of course is Zaire Mitchell Patton. And then when it comes to the receivers, okay. Now, fun fact, I did some digging, and in the last 30 years, there has not been a team, maybe even 40 years, but in the last 30 years, there's not been a team that takes and wins a Super Bowl off the back of the tight end. It's usually because they have some pretty good receivers. At least one really, really good receiver. At least one. But yeah, so let's check this out. So they got Rashad Bateman. He gets fed a lot. He is a good receiver. But let's be real. If Rashad Bateman was on a team like the Rams, if he was on the Dallas Cowboys, can't stand the Cowboys, but if he was on the Cowboys, if he was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if he was on the Philadelphia Eagles, Rashad Bateman would be a comfortable wide receiver 3. He wouldn't be a 2. He wouldn't be a 1, maybe even a 3B. And that's just the honest truth. He is a good wide receiver. Loved him when he played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. I'm a huge college football fan. But, man, he is just not that guy to put the team on his back. Hey, throw me up the ball. I'm going to take it all the way. He's not that guy. Zay Flowers is fun. 5'9", 183 yards. But he's a slot receiver. He's a good receiver, not a great receiver. I feel comfortable putting him as an honest number 4 on the depth chart, maybe even number 5. On some teams, he'd be a 5 and be fighting for playing time. End of the year, this cat would probably have maybe 300, 200 yards, okay? 200 to 300 yards. That's my thoughts on that. So I'm not crazy about how they draft, okay? That falls on John Harbaugh and also the offensive coordinator and the scouts as well, too. This next year's draft, when I do my Ravens mock draft, another reason that you guys should hit that subscribe button. I'm just saying you don't have to, but it helps out a lot. But when I do my Ravens mock draft in a couple of months, best believe it's going to be receiver, receiver, receiver. Nobody should feel comfortable. Let's continue down this depth chart. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, is this his last year? Is he going to do another year or two? He's still playing at a pretty good level, but this ain't the same DeAndre that we've had before. He just shows flashes of it. You understand? I feel like if DeAndre was there maybe like 3 years ago, ooh, that really could have been something. Then there's Devontae Walker and then Tylan Wallace, okay? Just guys. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And then LeJohntay Wester. LeJohntay was dope at Colorado, by the way. Huge fan. I want to see what he can do in the NFL, and I would like to see him on the field a lot more. We'll see what happens with that. But those are the problems. It's the offensive coordinator, and I got to call what it is, John Harbaugh. And John Harbaugh, he deserves to be on the hot seat. The offensive coordinator deserves to be on the hot seat, okay? And maybe even the defensive coordinator, but right now we're talking offense. So stop wasting people's time, John Harbaugh. Stop wasting Lamar Jackson's time. Because though Lamar Jackson signed that monster contract and you guys were able to keep him and everything, remember there was talks he might go to Miami. There was a whole bunch of rumors floating around, right? Though he is paid, I respect that Lamar still wants to win. I respect that about that man. Therefore, I don't think that he was cheating. That is my personal opinion. But you guys comment below. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of this video. I like Lamar. I respect Lamar. Lamar is probably my favorite quarterback in the NFL. But what would Lamar be looking like if he had a room full of really good receivers? At least 2 really, really, really good ones, right? How great would it be if maybe they made a trade with the Miami Dolphins and made a run for Tyreek Hill to save the season? How awesome would that be? They got a Jalen Waddle. Yeah, you can trade him too. I don't care. You know what I mean? Try to get a receiver. You guys are in win now mode. Derrick Henry's not too happy. They got into a little verbal snafu on the sidelines in last week's game, right? So, yes, the Ravens, they fall again, and I like the Ravens, man. I think they have the potential to win the Super Bowl this year, but they need to make a run for a wide receiver in free agency, or maybe even try to trade with someone like the Miami Dolphins, like a disgruntled Tyreek Hill. Man, how dope would that be? Hopkins on one side, Tyreek Hill on the other, man. Throw it deep. Oh, on top of that, you got Derrick Henry, who still is playing really good football, minus last week, of course, right? So, anyway, you guys comment below your thoughts. What is the real reason of this kind of free fall for the Baltimore Ravens? And also, do you think Lamar Jackson was actually faking an injury? I personally don't, but you might have some evidence that maybe I didn't see yet. Also, guys, hit that subscribe button. Please consider supporting the channel. It costs you absolutely nothing. If y'all want to donate, you can always do that stuff too. But man, a subscription really goes a long way. So hit that bell for the alerts. God bless you guys. Jesus loves you. And I'll see y'all next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Thank you for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.